All right, tonight we're going to cover 2.3. And in this video, basically we did addition subtraction in the last video, which was 2.2. So now we're doing multiplication and division. Now you need to be very careful with this because you're going to end up encountering some negative signs and it's going to change some of the rules. We still need to rewrite it so the variable's on the left-hand side to make it easier for you to graph, but it shouldn't be too complicated. We still answer whether it's opened or closed and what way we shade. So those are going to still see off to the side. So let's look at number 1. So we have 6x is less than negative 30. So basically what I'm looking at here is that they are held by multiplication. We know the opposite of multiplication is division. So I divide both sides by 6. So x is less than negative 5. Now that we know what this is, we look at it and go, okay, the x is on the left-hand side. I'm ready to continue on. So we know this is an open circle, which means that it's not going to be a part of my answer. And as you can see, I'm putting some hashes on here. So let's fill them in. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is open at negative 5. And it says x is less than. So that means I'm going to shade left. So I go ahead and shade left. Look at number 2. Do the same thing. So go ahead, take a moment. I'm going to pause the video. And remember, you need to rewrite this. So that's a part of this. All right, is that what you got? Excellent. So we got 3. Remember, when we flip them around, it's still reading the same thing. You're saying 3 is less than or equal to f, which is the same as saying f is greater than or equal to 3. So let's kind of put in some hash marks here. And we say f is going to be closed. And now we're shading to the right. As you can see here, I kind of put in some numbers, not a whole lot, but just enough to get us by. Now, for number 2, we're good there. Number 3, let's walk through together. This one, we're going to have to do a little bit of work. This is held by multiplication, the f and the 3/7. We know that we multiply by the reciprocal, but we can also take and just clear this by multiplying by 7. If you do that, that's a saying 7 over 1. So 7 and 7 cancel, leaving behind negative 6 is less than or equal to, the 7s cancel again, and it's going to be 3f. So now we have it down into whole numbers. So we divide by 3, and you're going to get negative 2 is less than or equal to f. Well, we know that we have to rewrite this, so it's going to be f is greater than or equal to negative 2. We know this is going to be a closed circle and that we are going to shade right because our arrow was pointing to the right after we rewrote this. So when we graph it, we're going to say 1, 2, so there's negative 2. It is a closed circle, and I'm shading right. And that's it for that one. Excellent. Now, let's look at number 4. So number 4 is another trick one. Negative 4m is greater than or equal to negative 16. Now, here's the trick. We are dividing by a negative. So let's talk about this really quickly because we haven't done this yet, but we've been kind of already practicing it by flipping our inequality sign when we switch the sides. Well, in this case, m is already on the left-hand side like I need it to be. We are going to divide by a negative. So over here, we're going to say when I divide by a negative number, I flip the inequality sign. So let me raise that up so we can see a little better. When I divide by a negative number, I flip the inequality sign. So what's going to happen is when you divide by -4, you get m is now less than or equal to +4. We still have to tell me that it's a closed circle. We still have to tell me that I'm going to shade, in this case now, to the left. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to have a closed circle, and I'm going to shade to the left. All right, so number 5 is a practice of 3 and 4. So take a moment. Let me put it on the overhead, and then I want you to practice doing those two combinations, I should say. So for number 5, you have x over -6 is greater than 1/3. Remember, use the clearing of fraction, but you're going to multiply by a negative number to clear it. Good luck. Okay, so how did it go? Let's see. The common denominator is going to be 6 because 3 can become 6. So I multiplied each one of them by -6. -6 cancels -6, leaving the x. -6 times 1/3 becomes -2. So now we have x is less than -2. Now how do we get from less than? Well, we are dividing by a negative, so we flip the inequality sign, or in this case, multiply by a negative. So we have an open circle, and we're going to shade left. So let's go here to -2. And it's open, and we are going to shade to the left. All right, great job. Now, let's look at the next problems. They're going to be a combination of dividing and multiplying by negatives. They're going to be a combination of clearing fractions. So 6, 7, and 8, I want you to do 6, and we'll check it. And 6 is 1 is less than or equal to -1/4 y. Remember to ask yourself your two questions so you don't forget to do it. All right, here you go. I'm going to pause the video, make sure you pause it, and come back up with the answer. Okay, so how did you do? Did you multiply by -4, which is the reciprocal of -1/4? Good job. Okay, so the negative cancels it off of the y and makes it a positive y, and it flips the inequality sign. However, yes, your sign goes back to where it originally was when you put the y on the left-hand side. This is kind of tricky, but it's not too difficult. If you think about it, you're switching it because of the multiplication, and then you're switching it again because you're rewriting your equation with the y on the left. All right, we know it's a closed circle, and we know we shade left because the way the inequality sign is facing. Good job. Now, try number 7. Once again, you can do this. I would clear my fraction. That's what I would do first. Good luck. All right, how do we do? Okay, so for this particular one, I cleared it by multiplying by 3 to get it off of the fraction thing. So that became -2, and the other side was -12. I then divided by -12. When I did that, it flipped the inequality sign, and it made it become 1/6 on the left-hand side. We rewrote it, so I had to flip my inequality sign again so that x is less than 1/6. It is open, we shade left, and as you can see, I skewed it. It helps if you skew it a little bit, like I did. I made it so that I had a lot more room, like 5 hashes between 0 and 1, so that I could do 1/6 easy enough. Because remember, 6/6 is 1. All right, so number 8 is the last one. We're going to do 8 and 9 both, but we're going to do number 8 first. So let me put that down on a new piece of paper because we have completely run out of room on that one. And it is -4/5 x is greater or equal to -2. Once again, the hint for you is going to be clear the fraction first. It'll make life a lot easier. All right, go. Okay, are you ready? Now, for this particular one, I chose to carry the negative sign through at the beginning. And when you do that, it makes the 4 become positive, so it becomes 4x, and then -5 times -2 is -10. When you divide by 4 on both sides, x is less than or equal to 5/2, which is the same as saying 2.5. So if we come over here and we graph this, 2.5 is right about here. And since it's a closed circle, you can just put a dot here. It says x is less than that, so we're going to shade to our left. And I think all of them we shaded left this time. But, you know, it's just a coincidence. You don't always shade left. All right. So all of the regular problems are done. Let's look at our story problem. So for number 9, there are at most 36 red and blue marbles in a bag. So at most means it can be no greater than that. It can be equal to 36, but nothing greater. The number of red marbles is twice the number of blue marbles. Write and solve an inequality that represents the greatest number of red marbles in our bag. Okay, so let's pause this. I want you to take a moment and try to set it up before I do. We'll come back in just a moment. Okay, let's see how we did. So if we put it in terms of red marbles, it said the number of red marbles is twice the number of blue marbles. So R represents the red marbles. The blue marbles are going to be half of the red marbles. So if we keep it in terms of red, you don't have 2 variables because we're not ready for that yet. That's going to be later on this year. So R plus half R is basically 3/2. If you think about it, it's going to be 1.5. So 2 times 1 plus 1 gives me 3/2R. We have to clear the fraction. So I multiply by 2 on both sides, which gives me 72 is greater than or equal to 3R. I divide by 3, and that gives me 24 is greater than or equal to R. We rewrite that so the R's on the left, R is less than or equal to 24R, or 24 marbles. And we need to make sure we say red marbles. All right, so that is the end of your 2.3 lesson. This one, we're going to see a couple more problems as we go through in class, but this gives you a basic idea of just another brush-up problem. All right, good luck on your assignment.